So in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how you can use your webcam and use it as a motion tracker in BeamNG, American Truck Simulator, and Euro Truck Simulator, and all those type of games shown in this video. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so the setup, it's very easy to do it. So basically, you're just going to go down to the link in the description below and go to the GitHub of OpenTrack.
And what OpenTrack does is basically it's a software to enable you guys to use your webcam as eye tracking for completely free.
Trust me on this, guys. So basically, you guys are going to go to releases and click on OpenTrack 2026, go down below and basically download the setup exe and basically just download. Okay, once you guys have downloaded, you guys should be able to see the screen that says completing the OpenTrack setup wizard. So you guys are going to launch OpenTrack. So it's that easy and you have OpenTrack downloaded right now. You guys are going to make sure the output of your OpenTrack is basically a free track 2.0 enhanced, and just make sure the input is neural net tracker. You guys are going to press the wrench which is next to the icon, and once you guys are right here, you guys are going to configure several settings. So basically what the settings I like to do is basically you guys are going to configure the center button, and for me I put it on my second numpad. You guys can bind this button to whatever you want, but the most critical buttons you guys are going to bind is basically center and toggle tracking, and that's it. You don't have to touch anything. So moving to output, you guys are going to see a whole bunch of things and you guys are probably very confused what's going on, but basically what yawn does is yawn controls your head movement from left to right, and that's it. It does not change anything. So I would say this is the most critical thing you guys want to do with it. Pitch basically controls when your head goes up and down, and that's about it. Roll, which is not very frequently used, you guys can go ahead and disable this if you want to. It's basically just tracking your head rolling from left to right, that kind of stuff, but it's not very critical in those games such as ATS 2. So what X, Y, and Z does basically is how your head moves forward, backwards, upwards, downwards. So basically in the XYZ plane, that sort of thing. And that's pretty much it for the output section of OpenTrack. So the game detection, for me, if you guys want to play on BeamNG, you guys are gonna have to find where you store your BeamNG exe at, and basically for most people it'll be the normal Steam directory. You guys can open up Steam and you guys can quickly hover to manage and browse local files, and that's where you will find the BeamNG location. So it's very simple to do. If you guys are satisfied with that, you can go to relative translation, and for this settings I didn't really change anything. I kept it as default because I didn't think that they will have any changes for it. So this way you see the tracker page, and basically you guys are going to pick the camera that you have. So for me, I've been using this camera. You can check down in the link in the description, and it's a very good camera. It's a very cheap camera you guys can get, and it works decent well. So there's another type of camera you guys can get, which is the Logitech, which I'm going to link down in the description below. So if you guys want to check it out, you guys can go down in the description and check it out and buy it for yourself. The camera I'm using, it's a very budget webcam, and if you guys have already have a webcam, you guys can go ahead and use it as well. So it's not really a problem. You can use a cheap webcam, you can use a $10 webcam, you can use a $100 webcam, laptop webcam, does not matter as long as you have a webcam and you have this software configured properly. So for the diagonal FOV, I've kept it as 56, which is default resolution. You guys can go ahead and pick 800 600. If you guys don't have a very good PC, you guys are using a laptop, you guys can use 800 x 600, but for me I've been using 720p. This offset center, I'm not sure what it does. I didn't really configure much with it, but basically I assume that it will have some offset or some sort of offset, so you guys can go ahead and calibrate, which I did, but it's not necessary to do it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And we move on to filter, and this is where the most controversial thing will appear out, because most people have suggested you to go ahead and turn all the scales all the way up, but for me personally, I've kept it at 0.6 because it's more smooth. The dead zone is 0 degrees. That's what I think is the best setting, but you guys can go with the flow. You guys want to pick everything to be the most smooth, or you guys want less smoothness. So another question you guys might ask is what this smoothness setting does, which I'll show you in a second, and I'll show you a comparison what does the smoothness does. So it basically means that whenever you turn your head to left and right, you want it to be, you want to make it very smooth, or you guys want to make it very change very rapidly. So it really depends on your taste and what you want it to be. So I've kept it at 0.6 and 0.8 mm respectively, and we are done with the options. We press OK, and you guys will see the screen. So you guys are probably wondering, how do you track in this game, or how do you track any game? In that matter, how do you track? How do you use this software and track in the game? So you guys are, if you have configured everything properly, you guys are gonna press start tracking, and basically your webcam will turn on and have some animations, and you pretty much can just see yourself in the webcam right here. So what you guys are going to do is basically, you can go ahead and turn left and right just to check, but the camera on the right hand side, the octopus is basically the rigging for your face and it's recognizing your face, and the input, which is neural net tracker, is basically using some sort of algorithm just to track your face and get the data when you move left and right. And you guys can see the different values, the raw tracker data and the game data right here. So it's not really that important. You guys can go ahead and stop tracking once you're satisfied and you have tested that it's working. So another thing you guys might ask is basically what this mapping button does. So basically this really comes down to preferences, which I'll explain a bit later in the next section. So basically, if you guys want to start tracking, it's very simple to do it. So you guys are going to just press start tracking, and basically what it does is basically it turns on your webcam, it starts tracking your movements and translate in the game. So for this example, I'll be using the BeamNG software to show you guys how it works. So you just want to basically just start, and it basically does everything for you. So you guys are going to load to BeamNG and just go ahead and click any map you want and just start free roam. So I'll see you right there. Okay, so once you guys are at BeamNG, as you guys can see, and you have loaded in, you will start to realize your head movement is already tracking. That's because in BeamNG there is the default settings which allows you to head track immediately off the bat, and it can get a bit annoying, especially if you're in third person where there's no need to actually head track, but that's kind of how BeamNG works. So you guys can see that head tracking is working. So if I look down, you do look down, look up, turn right, turn left, that sort of stuff. It works on other games such as ETS2, ATS as well, but for the purpose of today's video, I'll be just demonstrating. So let me know down in the description if you want to see it for ETS, ATS, and DCS, and those type of games. So yeah, so you can just turn on the engine, and yeah, I would say it's kind of a good experience. You can kind of look left, you kind of look right, so you can actually make use of the mirrors. As you guys can see, you can make use of the mirrors, the left, the right, and that sort of good stuff. So last but not least, I would like to show you guys what mapping does. So mapping for the yawn, if you remember, is left and right. Basically just configures the amount of times you can move left and like sort of the limit. So if you want to move left more easily, you guys might want to consider dragging this up, because as you guys can see, I can turn left more quickly. But for me, this is the settings that I would like to go with yawn being like that. And it really comes to preferences, whether you want to turn it, you want to make yourself move faster to the left hand side, the right hand side, and that sort of stuff. And the same can be said for the pitch, which is up and down. So you want to look up faster and you want to look down faster, that sort of stuff. And for X and Y, Z settings, those XZ settings, you guys can go ahead and either copy mine or just make up your own. I guess the best one would be you just use your own custom way of configuring it. So yeah, that's pretty much how you can head track in BeamNG and ETS2 completely free using OpenTrack and just a cheap webcam. So do remember, like and subscribe, and check the webcam down in the description below if you guys really like it. And yeah, if you have any questions, do drop it down below, and I'll reply to all of the questions you may have. So yeah, peace out.